when people ask me, what was it like to, start a business? And I likened it to building a plane as you're going down the runway, hopefully to get in the air. Welcome to 10 Minute Travels. With me, as always, is Shane Patrick.
With me, as always, is Phil Freeman. Today, we're going to be talking with Phil about the inception of MotoQuest.
Let's get right to it, shall we? There was one other company in Anchorage that rented motorcycles, and I perused their website, and then I started looking around the web, and I noticed there were other places that rented motorcycles and did motorcycle tours, and it had my attention completely. And the more I rode, the more I schemed, and the more I thought, what am I going to do when I get back from Japan, having been gone for 2 years? And of course, what I did was I sent money home. My mom's husband found a motorcycle in the Portland, Oregon area, and I didn't go directly home. I went to Portland from Japan, and I got on that motorcycle, and I rode it home. And I rode it all the way to Alaska. And all along the way, I was thinking about how I'm going to start this business. How do I get it started? I've never started a business. I think I need this. I got to do that. And all the while, I'm buzzing with the idea of freedom and going down the road thinking, will this be one of my tour routes? How will this work? How do I get people to come with me? What do I offer? I had no idea, and I couldn't afford my own service. I had just one used motorcycle. There were a lot of question marks.
Yeah, and you're not going to find a lot of customers that are going to go on a guided trip to ride two up behind you. So
no,
you need at least one more bike, right?
Yeah, I needed to get a fleet. I had bought the bike I bought in Portland, Oregon was a Kawasaki Spectra 750 from 1982. I don't even know if they have those around. And I ended up buying another bike to just start a fleet. And it was a Yamaha Virago from 1982. And I mean, they were functional bikes and good for touring, but they were by no stretch of the imagination new, and I didn't have any. I couldn't afford a brand new BMW, which is really where the market is, or at least on top of the line. I was just using used bikes and an idea of just trying to duct tape it all together with the meager savings I had made in Japan. I had no idea how to build the business, and I fretted and I thought. I ended up, the first year we had 3 used motorcycles. One of them failed the first week, and I didn't know what to do with that. So we just pushed it kind of in the bushes, literally, and then finished the tour with just the support car, which was a Subaru. And my first guests were Japanese. Asako and Akiko came across the pond and spent a week with me when I had Alaska Rider Tours, and that was my very first business. I had put money aside to pay for insurance. I had bought the bikes. I had the route. I had a website.
And you had Japanese, which is pretty huge.
Yeah, I had Japanese, and Akiko, a dear friend of mine, she says, if you start this, me and Asako, we're coming there. And so we tried our first trip together, and when people ask me, what was it like to, start a business? And I likened it to building a plane as you're going down the runway, hopefully to get in the air. And I was scared. I didn't know what I was doing. I had a lot of sleepless nights, and there was a lot of loose ends. And if anybody has started a business, whatever you think your expenses are, they're going to be twice as much as what you thought they were. And so the budget was out the window. I went through all of my money that I had saved in Japan teaching, and I started going into credit cards. And when I went into my second season, after the Asako and Akiko trip, I only had one tour booked. And then when they left, I had nothing going on. And I looked at my bikes and I looked at my wallet, and I called my Uncle Bob and I said, Uncle Bob, I need a job. And I ended up running a front end loader and a chainsaw and a shovel all summer so I could pay for my idea that didn't pan out financially, not even close. So I was so excited that I had people come all the way to visit me. I wanted to do it again. So then I went to the bank and I took out a loan and I got enough money to buy 4 motorcycles. No, 5. I had a fleet of 4 Yamaha XT 225s. They're street legal enduros that can easily be ridden by most Japanese. They're pretty low to the ground.
Yeah, a little smaller for the average American, but perfect for that market.
Yep. And I bought one Yamaha XT 350, which was a kickstart for me, which was a little bit bigger. And we're crawling before we're walking. This business was just an idea, and it was just a summer fling, and I was not making any money. I remember one year you go, how to go this season? And I go, I made enough to pay for taxes. And you and you said, that's really not making money, Phil.
But you got to start somewhere.
And so those first 3 years as Alaska Rider Tours, I, had only Japanese clientele. Somehow I got a hold of a booking agent in Osaka, and he sent me 6 groups the next year. And these groups were either 2 to 4 people, and we were camping, we were cooking, we were doing our dishes in the wilderness. We were stopping at national park places, off the side of the road, somebody else's places, or hey, that looks like a good camp spot right there near the river places. And we were literally making it up. Now, the itineraries I had already on the web, but we stuck loosely to them, and that's easy. In Alaska, there's only 4 roads anyway, so you just do that. And I would select one of my friends, and I would ask them if they want to be a driver, and they would help by driving the support car and listening to me jabber in Japanese every day and all day. And we would set up camp, break it down, go ride, do it again. And when the summer was over, I had $7,000 so I could pay taxes.
Yeah, not a great hourly wage, but you could consider it essentially graduate school, right? You got your MBA in those first 3 or so summers.
Yeah, I think I got my MBA after the 3rd summer when the direct flights stopped coming from Japan and their economy did a downfall, and the faucet was literally shut off.
Yeah, so for those of you out there, go over just quickly what it took to get to Alaska before and then after the flights changed, how much harder it was for Japanese to go both ways.
Yeah, from the northern island of Hokkaido to Anchorage is 6 hours direct. But with the change of flight patterns, you had to go through Seattle, which added a day of travel. And the Japanese just don't have that time. So that would make it much more difficult for them to get there because it's eating into their time off, which they only get about a week or just a little more than that per year.
And they're burning 2 days on travel now.
Absolutely. And so when that hit, plus the economy tanked, all my eggs were in one basket. And the phone just stopped. The Osaka booking agent didn't contact me. He didn't have groups. And I was staring down the barrel of I had a loan to pay off and I had bikes to pay off. Well, that was the same thing, right? And I had other outstanding bills and I didn't know how to pay them. And I was working, full time in the winters. I was working at the ski resort. This is where we met. Mm-hmm. And I was, trying to make these bike payments and trying to figure out how to get more people to come to Alaska. And I had no idea how to do it. So things were looking pretty dismal. I was working 2 jobs. They weren't high paying jobs. They were apron style jobs.
Yeah. For those of you who haven't worked at a ski resort, super fun, except when you get your paycheck. Barely enough for beer money. Barely.
We would finish up a day at the rental shop, the ski rental place, and I would take one apron off. I would get on my bike and I would go downhill to the restaurant and bus tables until 10 at night. And I'd get up and I'd go to work at 8 again and work the 2 jobs. And I had many a night where I was just working and my friends were out having fun and I was trying to pay for these bikes and I didn't have any idea how I was going to do it.
That was Phil Freeman telling us about the inception of MotoQuest. If you want to learn more about that or anything else we talk about at 10 Minute Travels, please check us out at 10minutretravels.com.
And we want to remind you to make sure that your sense of humor matches your sense of adventure.